Hey guys, my name's Alvin and I love noodles. They're delicious, they're comforting, they're super fun to eat. You really can't go wrong with a bowl of noodles no matter what time of day it is. I think it's a great thing to be able to cook no matter how much time you have on your hands. So I brought in my friend Chef Eric, who's gonna show you guys how to make a 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day noodle. Take it away, Eric.
What's up everybody, my name is Eric Z. I'm the chef owner at 886 Taiwanese Restaurant. And today, I'm gonna show you guys how to make a 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day noodle. You know those days when you just don't feel like cooking at all, or you're super hungover, or you gotta run a class or something. So the 1 minute noodle is super simple. It's just a noodle and a sauce. The reason why the sauce is so good is because it has all the basic components. It has sweetness, it has acidity from the vinegar, and it has savory from the soy sauce. So this noodle was my go-to recipe during college. So my roommate, he would always be hungry and be like, "Yo Eric, can you cook me something up?" And one night I just took whatever we had in the pantry and I threw it all together and bam. Now for the noodles. All you have to do is put the sauce into the noodles. It's about half a cup. Mix the noodles real well, just so the sauce really incorporates into the noodles. Honestly, whatever noodles you have left over, as long as it's thin, really. All right, so this is ready to plate. Pretty up these noodles a little bit. Now we sprinkle on a little bit of sesame seeds. Make sure they're toasted. It provides a nice little crunch, the scallion. Here we have some minced garlic. And last but not least, we're gonna use some chili oil. Any Asian supermarket you can find chili oil. Lao Gama is everybody's favorite. I prefer our own chili oil that we use at the restaurant. So here it is, the 1 minute cold noodle with Chinese black vinegar, soy sauce, and sesame oil. So to eat this bad boy, all you gotta do is just mix it up real well. Man, I kinda miss it.
Eric, I have some.
Remember.
Please.
Now for the 1 hour noodle. This noodle is called 炸酱面, which literally translates to fried sauce noodle. It's super traditional. It's found in China, Taiwan, Korea. First thing we're gonna start off with, scrambled egg. For me, I like the eggs kind of charred on the outside, like a nice thick crust. It's not found in Western cooking a lot, but it's the more Taiwanese way of doing things. For this recipe, I feel like it works better because it provides the caramelized flavor of the egg. And my mom used to always make this for me, and the egg is ready. So now we're gonna get to the fried sauce part. So there's really just two types of sauces. You want to caramelize them both. So the first one we're going to use is a fermented yellow bean paste. Make sure you hear that slight sizzle. The second one is called the tianmianjiang. So these sauces you can really find in any Asian grocery store. The yellow bean paste, it's kind of like a miso, but a little bit funkier. And the sweet sauce is essentially a sweetened roux. So it's nice and sugary. By frying the sauce, you caramelize the sugars inside and it brings an extra depth of flavor. Transfer the sauce into the bowl, or into any separate container, and we're gonna add this to the pork a little bit later. So now we're gonna turn the heat up real high. Shallots, or as Gordon Ramsay says, shallots, some garlic, some ginger, and here you just wanna kind of fry them, get the water out a little bit, have the natural sweetness come through. You want to feel like you can see it becoming more translucent, and also you can smell that the flavors, the aromas are coming through. Chinese food is the trinity: ginger, garlic, and scallion. We don't have scallion here. We have shallots, kind of the same thing, but not really. Put in the pork. You can use any protein, you just want to make sure there's a good fat content. Right here we have about an 80-20 ground pork. The goal here is to caramelize the pork, so you get that nice meaty flavor. So this dish takes a little bit more of a prep. You have to cut your garlic, shallots, your ginger, make sure they're nice and fine so then they can cook evenly within the sauce. It's about these extra small steps and the details of these small steps that really makes the dish that much better. Smells like my mom's kitchen. I wouldn't say mine's better, but it kind of is. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes-ish. The pork is nice and brown. You can see the dark bits. All we have to do is put the caramelized sauce in. Add some of the soy sauce, just so it gets a little bit more color. And now we stir. Make sure the sauce is very evenly incorporated. Give it a little bit of time to marry with the pork. This part you gotta be really careful. You don't want to burn, right? Because your sauce is caramelized, your pork is nice and caramelized. Now we just gotta add the cornstarch slurry. Ooh. Now we're talking. So we just need to add a little bit more water. So now you see that the sauce it's not super sticky, but you can see that the cornstarch has gotten really incorporated into the sauce, and it will really coat the noodles super well. So the noodles I actually brought from the restaurant. We buy it fresh from a purveyor here in Chinatown, New York City. They make it fresh every morning, but if you're making it at home, store-bought ones are fine. Noodles in. So for these noodles, I cooked them for 2 minutes, and this recipe is obviously my mom's. So every time I cook it, I taste her cooking, and it's always that sense of nostalgia that always brings me back to it. So when you're cooking noodles, you really want to interact with it. You want to look at how it expands and it becomes slightly more translucent. You're just going to strain this guy out. You want to make sure you get rid of any excess water. Flick the wrist. Oh shit. That was not pretty. Let's plate it. Just kind of pour it into the bowl. For me, I like to make it nice and pretty, so pull it up a little and fold. We have a pork sauce. We have the cucumbers. Last but not least, the scrambled eggs. There you have it. This is our 1 hour zhajiang mian with caramelized pork sauce, cucumbers, and scrambled egg. So we finished our noodles and it's time to eat. So yeah, mixing it's gonna be a little bit messy, but that's what you want. It's always served pre-mixed. Oh, pre-mixed, before mixed, unmixed. It's always served unmixed. I know I should be saying something, but it's so good. It tastes like my mom's cooking. I feel like I'm back home and I was 15 years old, just finished tennis practice. Now you wanna try some? Yeah.
I'm gonna take this.
Take it home with you.
All right.
All right, we're here. This is the one-day noodle. So we're making the Taiwanese beef noodle soup. We start with oxtail and shin bones. These you can get in any butcher shop or any Asian supermarket. So short rib has a lot of collagen that's gonna break down into gelatin, and it has a lot of intermuscular fat, so it stands up to braising. So while the bones are boiling, we're gonna toast some spices. Here we have coriander seeds, star anise, Sichuan peppercorns. We're gonna toast the spices until they're fragrant and aromatic. We'll just take these guys out. Now the next step is to caramelize the doubanjiang. So this is a fermented fava bean. It's spicy. It's from the province of Sichuan. So by frying the sauce, you caramelize the sugars, and of course, by caramelizing the sugar, you have a greater depth of flavor. You want to be careful not to burn it because this is a little bit drier. So it's been 30 minutes. The bones have been blanched. So this step is to get rid of the metallic flavor in the beef. So if you skip it, you'll have that weird penny tasting broth. Nobody wants that. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff on the table. But since it is a one-day recipe, you might as well go all in. And every single ingredient provides a certain flavor. Taiwanese beef noodle soup, every household, every restaurant has their own recipe. Don't freak out if this isn't your recipe or whatever you're familiar with. So this specific recipe is for our restaurant 886. We wanted it to have a slightly sweeter, more subtle vegetable flavor than just straight up beefiness or spiciness. We have the apple and the celery. So these fruits and vegetables all contribute to the sweetness and different levels of freshness that you'll eventually get from the soup. Now we're gonna add in the tomatoes. In Taiwan, you would get literally stalls that focus on tomato flavored beef noodle soup. That's what I like to recreate. Now we're gonna add the garlic. We have the doubanjiang. We have all the toasted spices. So rock sugar is basically sugar that tastes better, and you get the subtle notes of cane sugar. Time for the savory. We have soy sauce. So dark soy sauce offers color, but it doesn't overwhelm the taste. If you wanted to do this at home, you could essentially hit up one really big Asian supermarket and have everything bought. You just want to fill it to the brim so all the ingredients are covered in water. So now that everything's in here, we're gonna give it about 6 hours to braise, just so all the ingredients can yield its flavors to the broth. And about halfway through, we're gonna take out the meat so it doesn't over braise. Then we're gonna have to chill it overnight. It is a very long time for a bowl of noodles, but trust me, it's gonna be worth it. It is now day 2, and I've strained the broth and taken the meat out. So as you can see, there's a layer of fat on top. We're just gonna take that out. It smells like beefy, tomatoey goodness. So I'm taking the fat out so later on when we're making the noodles, actually, we're gonna portion the fat to each bowl. All right, so we're gonna portion out 1 bowl of soup. All right, so the broth is portioned. Now we're gonna cook the noodles. So these are the same noodles as the jjajangmyeon ones, fresh, chewy, and springy. Now you're boiling your noodles, you're almost there. Hard days of work, it's gonna be worth it. Finish line. Noodles in here. So now we're gonna add the bok choy into the water that we were cooking the noodles with. And bok choy really just takes about 30 seconds to cook. Strain out any excess water, gently place them. So now we have the hot pan, and this is the short rib I took out from the broth, cut it off the bone, and kind of portioned it into semi-bite-sized pieces. So we're just gonna start by caramelizing them. It's really like finishing a steak. So you get the best of both worlds. Since the short rib has been braised, it's really nice and soft on the inside. And by searing the outside, you have a nice caramelized crust. So now we're reheating the broth. We're gonna add just a little tiny pinch of salt. This is where it all comes together. 1 day of work for this 1 bowl of beef noodle soup. I promise it's worth it. And to finish, a little bit of sliced scallions. And so putting in all this time and effort, you'll really understand why people go out of their way for a good bowl of beef noodle soup. There you have it. 1 day Taiwanese beef noodle soup with seared short ribs and bok choy. I've probably had about 10,000 bowls of beef noodle soup in my lifetime, but it never gets old. I'm gonna go home. You enjoy.
Bye, Eric. Thanks.
All right, and there you have it. That was a 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day noodle. I hope you guys learned a lot. Chef Eric is amazing. And if you really want to eat the 1 day one and you live in New York City, you should go to his restaurant, 886. There's amazing Taiwanese food there. I hope that inspires you guys to go try some noodles. They're really fun, they're really delicious, and you can really have them any time of the day. And remember, there's always time to cook. So until next time, peace.